Hello and welcome to Politics Today, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Today is a good day to get a cup of coffee or a drink, or better still, water, and sit by your television, because if you've never heard the EFCC chairman speak, I'm being brutally open, you'll hear it today. I will allow him say and explain what's been happening with the issue of the former Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello. And that will be a core conversation today on the show. Plus, if you've been wondering why the demolition of structure has been ongoing in Lagos State over sundry issues, or the right man who answer the right questions over those issues on behalf of the Lagos State government is here to answer questions about what the Lagos State government is doing to give it that stature of a mega city. But first, let's tell you that the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and former Governor of Imo State, Mr. Emeka Yahaya, has dumped the People's Democratic Party. In a resignation letter to the acting chairman of the PDP, Mr. Yahaya explains the recent happenings in the PDP is at variance with his personal beliefs. He explains that how the party is unable to carry out necessary reforms, enforce his own rules, or even offer credible opposition, which are the premise on which he's leaving the party effective immediately. Mr. Yahaya's resignation comes less than a week after the PDP held its NEC meeting to put his house in order. Well, we'll get to find out a lot more on that, maybe at another time on the show. Let's also tell you that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has published the final list of the governorship candidate for the Edo governorship election scheduled for September. A statement by the electoral umpire shows that 17 candidates across 17 political parties and their deputies, including 16 males and 1 female, are vying for the office of the governor of Edo State. The statement further explains that in line with Section 94, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, political parties can begin campaigns tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 24th, which according to law is about 150 days before the polls, and must end campaigns 24 hours before the election. So those are some of the pictures of the people who will be slugging it out in September as far as Edo 2024 is concerned. 17 of them, mostly men and just a woman. So from alphabetical order, we have all of the parties represented in this particular slide. Let's move on now. President Bola Tinubu is expected to depart Abuja for the Kingdom of Netherlands on an official visit today. The president will also attend the World Economic Forum meeting scheduled for April the 28th to the 29th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. According to presidential spokesman Ajurin Galali, the visit is on invitation of the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte, and it will see President Tinubu engage in discussions with the Prime Minister and other leaders. He adds that after his engagement in the Netherlands, the president will proceed to attend a special World Economic Forum meeting scheduled for April the 28th to the 29th in Saudi Arabia. The meeting is expected to deliberate on global collaboration, growth, and energy for development. Let's also bring you the latest update concerning the EFCC versus Yahaya Bello's case, where Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed May the 10th for ruling in an application by the former Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello, seeking an order to set aside the arrest warrant issued on him. Justice Nwite also ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to serve a copy of the charge against him through his lawyers, Mr. Abdul Wahab Mohammed, which was done in the open court due to his absence in the court for his arraignment. After the service was done in the open court, one of Mr. Bello's counsel, Mr. Dedayo Dedipe, says his client was willing to appear in court, but expressed concerns about fair treatment. He argued for justice for the prosecution, defendant, and the public. He also requested the court to revoke the arrest warrant, citing that the charge hadn't been served when the warrant was issued. In response, EFCC's counsel, Kemi Finrose, urged that the arraignment must proceed without setting aside the warrant. EFCC added that they wouldn't execute the warrant if Mr. Bello's counsel ensures his presence at the next hearing. So there's a lot going on in terms of the legalese. In the meantime, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Ola Olukayede, has vowed to resign if his position if he fails to see the alleged money laundering case of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello to a logical conclusion. Mr. Lukayede said this while briefing journalists in Abuja, where he also promised to ensure that anyone who obstructed the arrest of the former Kogi State governor would be brought to book. The EFCC chairman further revealed that the agency has uncovered another scheme in the fintech ecosystem worse than Binance and has frozen about 300 accounts to ensure the safety of the FX market. It knows that the scheme, popularly called P2P, financial trading scheme, has operated outside the official banking and financial corridors, and there was a looming disaster the scheme could cause in the crashing of the Naira. But let's take a listen to him as far as the case of EFCC versus Bello is concerned.
Move money directly from government to build the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance, dollars. How much? 70 what?
Yes, total is over almost 800.
In dollars, yes. In dollars. $72,000. $720,000, sorry. $720,000 in advance. In Nigeria that was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi. And you want me to close my eyes to that? Under the guise of saying I'm being used by who? At this stage of my life, used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report. And I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do, just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. I'm under camera. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is, that she learned she had set, she has surrounded the EFCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview in my own office. What could be more honorable than that?
Well, those are direct statements coming from the EFCC chairman himself about how things have been playing out as far as the EFCC versus Yahaya Bello is concerned. There's a lot more he said, even concerning issues about the aviation ministry, the forex issue, the issue of the humanitarian ministry, and a lot also was said concerning the issue that has to do with Yahaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State. But the Kogi State former governor, has also been responding as well. But we will take your other stories. That's not all we've been tracking in the last 24 hours today. Two things in focus: the issue of the EFCC versus Yahaya Bello, and then we'll talk about the demolition that goes on in Lagos as the city is trying to shape up its landscape. We'll talk about that on the show as well. But let's take your political roundup stories.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has pledged to sponsor a bill for better administrative procedures in tariff setting, especially in the electricity sector, to prevent worsening poverty. He announced this during a stakeholders dialogue in Abuja, organized by the House Committee on Power. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, who was at the event, blamed the current epileptic power supply on power sector operators.
I will sponsor a bill to provide administrative procedures that entrench proper consultation and legislative review of processes for tariff setting in Nigeria's electricity and other public services.
On my visit to some of these substations, I noticed a transformer installed in the 60s, carrying the logo of ECN over 50 years ago, How will that support the transportation sector? We lack adequate technology, we don't have SCADA, and there's also no backup.
Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has attributed the steady progress recorded by successive governments in Akwa Ibom State to the prevailing peace and security in the state over the years, stressing the need for the federal government to give serious thought to the establishment of state police as a panacea to the current security challenges in the country. The former president spoke shortly after paying a courtesy visit to Governor Umo Eno at the Government House, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State.
Akwa Ibom State is quite promising because of the environment around the ocean and other places, and most especially the commitment of the governors.
A civil society organization under the aegis of Anti-Corruption and Research-Based Initiative has charged the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to operate within the ambit of the law by respecting fundamental human rights of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director of Publicity, Mr. Nwabweze Anyanwu, notes that the anti-graft agency did not follow the right procedure to invite the former governor for questioning on corruption charges before invading his residence in Abuja.
We could also not find evidence anywhere, no matter how remote, where the commission has asserted that she did extend such an invitation to him.
A group within the All Progressives Congress has called on President Bola Tinubu and the National Executive Committee of the APC to ensure the North Central Zone regains the national chairman position. The group, led by Mr. Mohammed Etsu at a press conference in Abuja, is insisting on the retention of the seats of the party chairman in the zone, where positions were microzoned in the north.
So let's get straight to that conversation about the EFCC and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. We're being joined in the program from our Abuja studio. Legal practitioner, Mr. Adeyinka Olumide Fusika. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Fusika, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Fusika, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome to the program. Let's begin with, there's something I want to play first as to why, because people were wondering why the siege, whether the former governor was invited or wasn't invited. There has been that debate back and forth, the issue of substituted service. We're going to get to that detail. But there's another thing he said, besides what we played before the roundup, that I need to get to the attention of the public. Let's take that, why they had to invade his residence.
Move money directly from government to produce the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance. Dollars. How much? 71?
Yes. Total is over almost 800.
In dollars, yes. In dollars. I think $72,000. $720,000, sorry. $720,000 in advance. In anticipation that he was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi, you want me to close my eyes to that? Under the guise of saying I'm being used by who? At this stage of my life, used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report. And I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do, just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues.
There's actually a second statement he made. If my producer can get that for us. This was one he was talking about, some level of courtesy he advanced to the governor and all of that. But I needed to get to the one he talked about, why they had to get to the residence of the governor and all of that. But let me take your immediate reaction to, Mr. Fusika, to what played out today as far as this statement. Maybe your quick response to some of the things that were said by the EFCC chairman.
Well, our public officials, a person or someone who has held the office of a governor of a state is supposed to be an exemplar in the sense that we are supposed to follow his example. If, for instance, I, as a private citizen, hear today that the EFCC, by whatever means I hear it, that the EFCC or any law enforcement agency has any issue with me, I will go there voluntarily. I won't wait to be arrested. I won't wait for any drama and all that. And you expect that from someone who has held the high office of governor of a state. So I really don't understand what whoever it is that is making, raising issues about invasion and all that. I didn't see any invasion. I think that what is going on is that, some of these officers, they have a lot of, some of these public officers, they have a lot of money at their disposal, and they are able to use it to change, to tell the story the way they want the public to hear it, to change the narrative, to whip up sentiment, emotions, and all that. So right now, we are no longer talking about what the substance of the matter is. It's about whether the right procedure has been followed in trying to arrest him or not. I think that, that shouldn't be the discussion right now. And looking at the law, he knew that he needed to go to the EFCC. That was the only reason why he went to Kogi State High Court. If he didn't know that he was being looked for by the EFCC or EFCC was interested in him, why did he file a case in Kogi State High Court to say that he should not be arrested, harassed, and all that? So he knew. So rather than filing a case, why didn't he just walk to the EFCC and say, here I am. I'm former governor. I should lead by example. What is the issue? Let me explain whatever it is you have. But rather than doing that, he went to Kogi State High Court to file a case. So say that I didn't, for him to say that, no, I didn't know the EFCC is interested in me or have an issue to go and resolve with the EFCC, that would not be a correct statement. He knew. That was why he went to Kogi State High Court. And the judge in Kogi State High Court was very...
If I may pause, my apologies, because of what you said, because we've had this back and forth. One of the questions the average discerning Nigerian is asking, was he invited? Now, just before, a minute before I came on air, we saw a release replying the EFCC. I think Mr. Wajarin had a release, and they said in their words, this is according to Bello's people, that the EFCC lied. In the third paragraph, they say in paragraph 3 of the publication, the EFCC stated that they invited Alhaji Yahaya Bello immediately after his tenure ended on the 27th of January 2024. We challenge the EFCC to publish a copy of the invitation delivered to Yahaya Bello. They should also tell Nigerians the date of the alleged invitation was delivered and who it was delivered to. We are certain that the EFCC will not be able to produce any of the foregoing as till date. They have yet to invite Yahaya Bello. So when you read this and you hear the EFCC chairman say, I even had to make a call to him, where should the public stand in all of this? This is more like judicial.
Well, I'm not a spokesman for. I am not a spokesman for EFCC. I'm sure they will be able to explain themselves whichever way they want to. Now that Yahaya Bello knows, whether he was served with a letter before, he wasn't served with letter. Now he knows. Let him go to the EFCC and explain himself. It's a simple thing. He knows now. Supposing he didn't know before. Now he knows. So if you hear that a case has been filed against you, I have clients who would call me and say, well, I have not been served. Maybe they are even trying not to serve me. Go to the court and obtain the copies of whatever has been filed against me so that I can respond to it. That's how a responsible person behaves. That's how you expect a governor of a state that has ruled a state in Nigeria should behave. If he didn't know before, he said, well, I wasn't served, now he knows. And when the EFCC came to wherever it was that day, and, oh, we are EFCC, we are interested in Yahaya Bello. Why didn't he come out to say, here I am? If you are going to be contesting and say, well, you are not following the right procedure, go to court and do that. They came to where he was lodged, his residence in Abuja, a former state governor. If a policeman came to your station now to say, we're asking for your, maybe proprietor or MD or whatever, will you ask your staff to go and blockade the road and say, don't? You will produce him and say, here he is. If he's not around, oh, he's not around, he will come, he will honor your invitation on so date. But was that what happened? That wasn't what happened. So all this talk of I wasn't served, now he knows. He knows. Everybody in the, has what's it called? Was it a wanted, whatever advert not been placed on him? Should be honorable. If he didn't know before, they've placed the wanted advert on him, he should go there and honor the invitation.
All right, I want us to get into some of the real merits without, of course, it's still under adjudication. So we are careful around this. You're a senior advocate, so I'm sure that you understand what I'm saying. But if I can get the track of that invasion from my producer, let's take a listen to the EFCC chairman on what played out that particular day.
Not until the day we got this order. I didn't go after this man. Do you know when we got there? I said Mount Surveillance. We were there as early as 7 a.m. Mount Surveillance. Don't cause breakdown of law and order. Our people wanted surveillance. So when eventually we got this order across to them, we were supposed to move in. That was when the governor came with his vehicle. Even though they are denying now that it didn't come on. When we have all the video evidence, we know the forensic evidence we have with us. And who is this man again? We met over 30 armed policemen. About 10 CTU, counterterrorism. I don't know what, with him. His CSO is a senior DSS official. We met all these people there. I went with my gallant men, over 50 of them, armed to the teeth, who would have exchanged fire. Then if you have done it, there have been casualties. If I've killed 1 or 2 people in the crossfire, Adam, what will you be saying? Will you be proud to come and collaborate with me today? And that's what some people are condemning us for. Why didn't you break down the house? So if I've killed 1 or 2 people or another uniformed man because I wanted to arrest somebody who committed white-collar crime, what would I do if I want to arrest a terrorist?
Well, there's been a barrage of reaction across board from Kogi State, from the Assembly, all of that. We'll try as much as possible to take all of that. But let me come back to you, senior advocate, on this particular one. One of the reasons his lawyer gave is the fact that it says he's not sure of getting fair hearing. I don't know. What does that mean?
That he will not get a fair hearing.
Because when they were questioning about his appearance
his lawyer said he will not get fair.
Those are the things that happen at the proceedings today.
No, no, but the EFCC is just to lay the charge, lead the evidence. The EFCC will not be the judge in the case. So I don't understand the bit about not getting fair hearing. He will be represented by, you know, a lawyer of his choice or lawyers of his choice. I'm sure the lawyer that spoke must be a senior advocate too. So for him to say he won't get a fair hearing, that would be an indictment on the judicial system in Nigeria. I don't know about that. I believe that the judges will go where the evidence lead. If the evidence is against him, the judges will say so. If it is not, it will also say so. After all, we've seen so many cases lost by the EFCC. So it's not as if once the EFCC charges you with an offense, you are convicted immediately or you are automatically guilty. That's not the way it works.
Is it
what's he afraid of?
What he says
is not...
is it legally tenable for him to say that? You're the lawyer. I'm just asking for interpretation. If he's unsure...
Well, I'm not in the case, and I don't know I don't know the facts, but he's presumed innocent. The EFCC, when he gets there, the charge will be read over to him. He will plead guilty or not guilty. The EFCC will call his witnesses to whatever allegations they've laid against him. He will have the opportunity of questioning those witnesses. He will have the opportunity of bringing his own witnesses to say, no, I didn't do this. He will have the opportunity of arguing the law, you know, after, you know, laying the facts and then applying the law and all that. And the judge will then be able to say, is he saying that he already knows that he's guilty? Is he saying that he's guilty already? He knows in his own conscience that he's guilty? So I don't understand that bit about it's not sure of fair hearing. Fair hearing where?
So
I don't know. Let's see. It's because the country is dysfunctional. Well, I'm sorry to say. If not, you can't have different arms of you know, people armed with taxpayers' money. A law enforcement agency wants to arrest someone validly on the court order. on a court order, and some other people armed with guns purchased with taxpayers' money prevented it from happening. Where does that happen in any part of, I don't know where that, as we are speaking now, President Trump is facing a trial, a criminal trial in the US. President Trump, former leader of well, so to say, they say it's free word, former leader. He's facing trial. He's making his own protestation and won't have here, but he has presented himself in court. He has pleaded not guilty. The trial is ongoing. That was talk of somebody who is governor of one. I'm sorry to use the. I mean, governor of a provincial governor says he will not go to court because of what?
All right, let us say
I've not been this. I've not been that. As governor, he should go to court. He should go and present himself in court and say, "Here I am." That's how a responsible person behaves.
Okay, let us say what is left. What are the options left to the EFCC? There's a hearing coming up, and if they insist he has to show up and he doesn't show up, what is left in law for him? I mean, for the EFCC, because he saw that they said they were avoiding a shootout at his home so that there won't be any casualty. What options is left for them?
No, the reason why they were avoiding the governor, a sitting governor, went there with his own security men provided for his own security, or policemen and whatever. He took them to the place, and there was going to be a confrontation. So if that had happened, and would it be, and there's a exchange, if there had been an exchange of gunfires and the governor, you know, the sitting governor, whoever there, we are not even talking of, and the governor was killed, that would have been much more embarrassing. I think that what the state should do is, and I think they've started that, since it's not going to use the resources of the state for lawful purpose, they should withdraw the policemen, the DSS, whatever that is, you know, attached to this, withdraw all of them. Or some have even said, why should they be withdrawn? It is the duty of those policemen and the DSS or whatever officials to arrest him.
All right,
that's their duty.
Advocate, they
should arrest him and bring him to...
My sincere apologies, we're totally out of time. I must thank you for coming, because we have another part of this conversation just after the break. I must thank you, and my sincere apologies, Mr. Deyinka Olumide Fusika, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for your thought and insight on this particular issue between the EFCC and former Governor Yahaya Bello. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Join us again. Welcome back. Mr. Jesusega Nokpasa, legal practitioner, joins us still on this conversation. On the other part of the conversation, EFCC versus Yahaya Bello joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Nokpasa, thank you for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Let's get, we're very well. Let's get straight to the point. Apparently, we hear, I understand, that this offense, though criminal in nature, these allegations, is a bailable offense. So, question naturally would be, if it's a bailable offense, why all this drama?
I think that question should be directed at the EFCC. That is wantonly and brazenly seeking to break the law by
Mr. Nokpasa. Mr. Nokpasa, if I may butt in, my sincere apologies.
Valid court order.
My sincere apologies. What I'm saying is that if it's a bailable offense, why can't Mr. Bello just show up and answer and go home and continue trial?
Because we all have rights in a civilized society. We all have rights in a democracy. The question, it is like saying, if I don't have a skeleton in my cupboard, therefore you should be able to barge into my house. On what basis? I have right to my privacy, for God's sake. If I have a court, if I have good reason to feel that you are about to violate my rights, that you are about to set me up, that you are on a personal agenda, that it is something else, you are not trying to fight corruption, you are just trying to drag me in the mud, probably even harm me, then I don't have a right to go to the court to seek protection. That's all he did. That's why Yahaya Bello
no,
did. He
Mr.
went
Anokbasa.
to court.
Mr. Anokbasa, let's be clear.
We have rights to go to court.
Yes, I know everybody has right to go to court, but I don't think the EFCC just, hold on, I don't think the EFCC just woke up. They said there's an allegation of over 80 billion naira money laundering that belongs to the state that was laundered. Come and answer questions. You heard the EFCC chairman say, he even put a call to him. Out of respect, there are things you need to clear. That's my question.
Please, with due respect, I'm not even interested in anything the EFCC chairman has to say. This is the same EFCC chairman, barely months into office, he claimed that 70% of Nigerian youths are involved in Yahoo. Somebody called me from America, a criminologist. I said, is this what your EFCC chairman is saying? Where did he get that statistics from? I don't take him seriously. He says what? He said Yahaya Bello laundered 80 billion.
Mr. Anokbasa, my apologies. I'm not going to allow you disparage the institution. Let's stay focused on the conversation.
I do not have to take, excuse me, we have rights, for God's sake.
Let's stay on the issue.
Beautiful. Now, he was saying that is beautiful. In his press conference, he was talking about whether people expected him to shoot people, he mobilized intelligence, he did this, he did that. When did he go there? When did he get, at what material point in time did he claim to have gotten a warrant of arrest for Yahaya Bello? Did he serve Yahaya Bello? Was there any invitation to Yahaya Bello?
The argument...
That is, if he says he called Yahaya Bello, I'm not interested in that because I'm not aware. I'm not aware of any such conversation.
No, Mr. Anokbasa, I think you should be concerned without making case for anyone. Just hold on. You should be interested.
No,
if
he should. Excuse me. He should have. Excuse me, please.
Just a minute, Mr. Anokbasa, so that we can have a conversation. So that you talk, you talk. We'll have a conversation.
He should have properly invited. Beautiful. He should have properly invited Yahaya Bello. He should have served him a document.
Which they said they did.
Why didn't he do that? It is because they did not. Why did you ask him to show you the invitation? They did not invite him because they knew they were about to breach the law, and they didn't want Yahaya Bello to have evidence of them breaching the law. Then you call him on the phone. You are calling him on the phone to do what? If you want to invite me to come to your office, write me. What are you calling me for?
Are you aware,
when
Mr.
I have
Anokbasa,
a valid court judgment protecting me?
Mr. Anokbasa, are you aware that the EFCC has said the reason, which is the hearing that happened today for substituted service, which has now been done, is because Mr. Yahaya Bello has been evasive to being served, which is why they had to lay siege on his house. Are you aware of that part of that information?
Do you know the crux of this matter? You see, but you see, all these narratives, they are actually of no interest to a lawyer, unless the lawyer is playing to the gallery. If a man has an order of court saying that you cannot arrest him, your remedy is to go to court to vacate the order. Okay? That's just how it works. Now, if you succeed in vacating the order, well, all well and good. If the court says, well, go and seek leave of the Court of Appeal before you can arrest the man, you should go there. We cannot have a police state, a Gestapo system.
Okay, Mr. Anokbasa, I understand what there's something I need to be clear with you on. He approached the High Court. The High Court gave its ruling in his favor, an interim injunction, and gave them leave that if they want to arrest him and all of those technicalities, they appeal. Hold on, Mr. Anokbasa. I say, hold on, let's calm down. Now that he's aware that he's being charged for money laundering, now that he's aware it's to the tune of 80 billion naira, now that he's aware of all of this issue, why can't he show up before the EFCC to save himself all of this embarrassment?
Yahaya Bello, as far as I am aware, is aware that he has a court order that says you cannot arrest him. You see, all these are shenanigans. They are of no interest to me. I'm a professional, for God's sake. Now, a man has a court order. The order says, the order restrains you from arresting him. Now, to the extent to which that order was varied, the order says seek leave of the Court of Appeal before you can arrest the person. Is the person supposed to cooperate with you to break the law, to defy the courts? That's the issue. It's not a question of aware of what. Yahaya Bello, as far as the law is concerned, all Yahaya Bello is aware of are the court orders. And they are all in his favor, by the way. That's all he has to be aware of. Aware of what? Aware of a press conference by the EFCC.
So what is Mr. Anokpasa, what is difficult? You're a lawyer, so what is difficult in, now that he knows all of these things are playing out, why can't he go to court before Justice Emeka?
I don't know if he knows.
Hold on. When you talk, I allow you to talk, so just allow me, please. Why can't he go to Justice Onokpasa's court and say, look, I am not appearing. I chose to honor you because of respect, but there's a subsisting court order that has not been set aside. I just need to let you know, why can't he appear now that the case is
That has been done by his lawyer. That has been done by his counsel. I'm not like Yahaya Bello's counsel. Yahaya Bello has learned counsel representing him. All these things have been done by his counsel. It is the EFCC that is trying to try him in the court of public opinion instead of going to the court of law. This case, the matter is in court. Let the process play itself out. He has a court order. He has learned counsel representing him. It's not what is this narrative about Yahaya Bello running away from the law? Running how? I have a court order. He says it restrains you from touching me. Then you say you mobilize to my house to violate the court order, to break the law. Then there is even a variation of that order that says seek leave of the Court of Appeal before you can arrest this person. You have not done that. That's all the person has to be aware of. That's all he is aware of as far as the law is concerned. It's not all these ones.
Mr. Anokpasa, isn't it? I allowed you to talk so that it wouldn't look like I'm interrupting you because we're totally out of time. Isn't it the reason that the EFCC now sought an ex parte to get that warrant of arrest to get him to come to court?
When the EFCC sought that ex parte order, did they inform the court that there was a subsidy order restraining them from touching Yahaya Bello?
But they've been granted leave by the court. They've been granted leave. You admitted that they've been granted leave.
So go to the court. They have not been granted leave. I'm speaking legalese. The court mandated them to seek leave, not grant. They have not been granted. They should go. They will apply to the Court of Appeal to permit them to arrest Yahaya Bello.
The reason I'm saying what I'm saying is that Mr. Abdul Wahab Mohammed, who is one of the counsels to the EFCC, had clearly said it is on the premise in line with that judgment from even the Kogi High Court, which is why they sought leave to stick that ex parte and get him, to appear in court. But apparently, we're totally out of time. But the truth is that at the end of the day, the EFCC has made up its mind that Mr. Yahaya Bello has to come and appear before the court to answer for the allegations leveled against him.
The EFCC is not a court of law. The EFCC does not have such powers. It does not have a power above even a customary court, not to talk of a high court or the Court of Appeal.
Are you, Mr. Onakpasa, are you against the Yahaya Bello appearing before court, or you're just insisting on process? What exactly is going on?
He is in court. Yahaya Bello is in court. That's how we... Look, you know you're a journalist, so you understand these things differently from me. He is in court. He has a court order. Yahaya Bello is not running from any court. He's already in court. That's how we lawyers interpret it. He's running from what? From whom?
Well,
he's in court. He has learned counsel representing him.
Let me find out from you.
He's not running from anything.
The EFCC say one of the allegations they leveled against him is the fact that before he left office, I need you to answer this honestly. The EFCC said they have evidence of payment of $750,000 he made transfer for school fees in advance, I think for his children and all of that. These are strong evidence they have against him just to come and answer questions.
Which did you see the evidence?
This is Mr. Onakpasa.
No matter how many allegations.
I did say that I'm not going to allow you to disparage the institution.
I said,
the chairman of the institution. Just hold on, Mr. Onakpasa. We need to calm down. The chairman of the
It's not
institution,
a court of law. Good God.
Mr. Anakpasa, he said he has evidence.
He's not a judge.
Mr. Anakpasa, you need, if you calm down.
To him.
Mr. Anakpasa,
that's why it's an allegation.
Mr. Anakpasa, if you calm down, you hear me. He said he has evidence to the effect that $750,000 was transferred by Mr. Bello to a student's school fee just to come and answer. He's not saying it's a court of law to decide. You have a case to answer, Mr. Bello, come and answer. How is that difficult?
It is not up to the EFCC to say someone has a case to answer. It's up to the courts. It is a court that can convict you. Now, if you say I should come, and for whatever reason I decide to go to court, all of us must obey that court. Otherwise, we have bedlam in the country. That's just how it works. Go back to the court. Go back to the court to vacate those orders.
All right, Mr. Jessica Anokpasa, thank you so much for coming on the program. I have a lot to do today on the program. I must thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll shift gears now. I did say we have two major issues. I must take this particular conversation, apparently, because it's important. Away from the issue of the legalese and EFCC versus Bello, let's come back to the Commercial Nerve Center of Nigeria, Lagos. I have been joined on the program by Mr. Oluyinka Olumide, who is the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And I must say thank you for your patience. So I want to make the most of this within the short time we have. So maybe you help us a good place to start. We've seen demolitions. We've seen the Lagos state government trying to stick with the master plan of the city. But a lot of people have reacted to this demolition that has been going on, saying, look, they had either the right document, but their properties are demolished, or the fact that notices were short and all of that. I needed you to respond to that before we get to a few other things.
Now, there are laid down rules of properties that can be demolished. And we don't just go out to demolish properties. Now, if you have a building on the right of way, it will be demolished because the right of way is supposed to give room for a proposed road. Now, if you have a building or property on a drainage path, it's also qualified for demolition. Now, if you also have building or property on gas line or under high tension, such buildings are due for demolition. Now, if you also have buildings that are distressed, this is where we have the challenge. If we have buildings that are distressed and they are marked as distressed and they have been proven as distressed by virtue of tests carried out, they are also due for demolition. If you also have buildings that are erected without proper documentation, they are also ripe and due for demolition. So those are the conditions upon which buildings are demolished. We don't just go out to just demolish.
So one will wonder, is it that they didn't do due diligence? Or there's complicity within the system? What exactly is going on here? Because all of this you've explained should be common sense. Or if you go to the right authorities to ask questions, I want to buy this particular property, you'll be shown all of this. So where is the failure from the part of the people here?
It's failure from the part of the people or the developers. And believe me, there is no building being done in Lagos here where one of our agencies will not be there to serve them as a way of caution. Either planning permits authority or the building control or the material testing. At the infancy level, they must have given them notices that what you are doing is wrong, where you are erecting the building is wrong. And I mean, we've not seen anybody coming up on all this that I've laid out to say that they have approval, because before a building is approved, you have clearance if it's near the waterway from drainage. So if it's on the path of the drainage, you cannot get approval for such kind of building. Or if it's on the right of way, you cannot get approval for such kind of buildings. But people will on their own go ahead to build, and we give them notices from infancy, but they will still continue.
Are you saying also that there are no issues of complicity within the system that allow these things to go up?
Out of every 12, there is always a Jew that you may have. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't follow the law.
So how much punitive measures have been put to the people that are misrepresenting the government?
Well, unfortunately, we have cases where touts are approached. I've been saying it, and we've been saying this repeatedly. For you to get your building plan permit, you don't need anybody. Once you have your documents well prepared by your consultants, you approach the relevant government agencies, and they'll put you through. But people go to agents and turn them as government officers. No.
I must ask this question because this is important to the Lagos state government and to the people as well. Because when people see these demolitions, maybe it's personal property or businesses, it begins to create a perception like Lagos is anti-real estate investment. So people are looking elsewhere because they feel that if I build now, maybe they come and demolish tomorrow and maybe do. So you need to address the issue of what is the right process. I want to get a property, whether it's a big one or a small one. Just walk us through the process in maybe 1 minute so that everybody gets that information now and here.
Thank you very much. I'll go into that. But let me just give a simple scenario that I just had. Just last week, Thursday and Friday, myself and the team were in Ibejuleki and Ekpe axis. And you will agree with me, anybody passing that corridor, you see a lot of estates marked there. Now, we went there. I can tell you from what we saw on Thursday and Friday, over 80% of them don't have approval. Now, the procedure is this. You want to develop something as big as an estate. The first thing you do is to get the planning information. That what have we zoned those areas for? That's the starting point. Now, in this case, what we have agric land. And people now go to the families to buy agric land. Of course, they will sell for you because they don't know what use you want to put it to. Now, after buying, before you even buy, you're supposed to check the information on that land, that what exactly are those areas zoned for. Okay, let's assume that you for one reason or another, that wasn't done. Now you proceed, you've paid. The first thing you are supposed to do is a fence permit. In Lagos State today, before you do anything as simple as fence, you are supposed to get a permit. As at the point of approaching for fence permit, you will also know the process, what the area is zoned for in terms of what you can develop there. Now, after that, you have the layout permit for large expanse of land. You know, you can never get layout permit if it is not zoned for the purpose it's designed for or for the purpose you are requesting for. So you can see all these layers, but people still go ahead and start advertising. Some of them have even gone to the extent of displaying the sizes they want to sell. And imagine somebody in diaspora who wants to send money, he doesn't know anything, they send him money. Now, eventually, they cannot get approval. Even if they pass the assignment and the survey to them, we will not grant the individual permit because that area is not zoned for that particular developed purpose.
This is very, very important, which is why I asked that particular clue. Now, is there also a place, maybe now we live in a technology-driven world, because, again, if someone wants to get a property, is there a place you can go to, maybe a website or portal, to find out, okay, these are the areas that Lagos State government is saying, please don't go near these areas?
We have 57 local government development areas in Lagos State. Anybody is free to approach any of these nearest to them. That's the first point. You go there, you can get all the information required. Aside that, you can approach the ministry. You get all the information. We have planning information department. They will give you all the information. You also approach LASPA, Building Planning Permit Agency. You get all the informations. And our website, once you Google it on the Play Store, Ministry of Physical Planning, it comes on and you can get all the information of areas to go, ask whatever you want to ask. So it's there.
All right, before we go, because we're totally out of time, I know that the Lagos State government has provided a 90-day amnesty period for property owners and developers without planning permits. I will need you to speak to that in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you very much. In line with what we just said about, because we've realized that about over 70% of buildings in Lagos, they don't have approval.
Really?
Yeah. And that is why we are going all out, educating them that, okay, we've opened this window, a 90-day window from 2nd of May to 31st of July, that come out, get your consultants to generate your drawings for you with all the certification and the tests, because they're already existing building, and you present them and you get your approval without any penalty. without any penalties to enable them to come out. And it's so funny because if you get a phone today and you get a SIM card, if it's not registered, you cannot use it.
How would they know it's not registered? Because probably the people they bought it from have assured them that we're all
No.
clear.
We are talking of building now. Okay. You own a building.
Okay.
The law says that that building must have approval. Let's assume for one reason or the other, this approval is not gotten. Now we are giving you the opportunity, free of any penalty. Get your consultant, let them generate the building as existing, bring it forward, and you get the approval. Because after this, again, you'll be talking of demolition. We'll go after them very heavily. We'll go after them.
Okay. You and I know that this conversation just got started. There's a lot to talk about, so we have to do this again so that we can expand. But there's a lot to talk about as far as Lagos. It's a mega city. But I must thank you, Honorable Commissioner, and I apologize for all inconveniences. Mr. Oluyinka Olumide is the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. Thank you for coming on Politics Today.
Thank you.
That's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Have a good night.